1, 3, 4. Then you had marching music, which is in 2/4, like John Philip Sousa.
Wasn't plugged in.
Seal oli see väike. Left, right. Then in the 1960s, James Brown came along and invented funk, and funk is in the 1. It gotcha! 1/4. It's in 1/4 time. That is funk, invented by James Brown. Oh, I forgot bebop. Bebop music of the 60s is in 5/4. 5/4 time. So you have the upbeat. Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, boop bop, boop bop, ba dee ba dee, da da da. That's 5/4 time. How many people knew all this shit? You did, Stacy? Stacy, come on up. Stacy Herbert, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! All righty. Whoa.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I just am here to warn you. Everybody give warning. Just so you know, Max Kaiser slept for 12 hours last night. And he may combust on stage. So if you see that, make sure you post it to X with the hashtag MaxCombusts.
Yeah, it's true. I was over at the table this morning, and I just looked at my ballpoint pen, and it blew up. Right? Just like it's telekinesis. I have that ability sometimes. So what were your impressions of day one?
Day one, it was fun. You know, we had a lot of hustlers around, you know, on the pickleball courts and on the poker tables, including myself. Like, I was actually kicking ass. I was surprised at poker. It was my first time ever playing. And then I had a huge pile of chips in front of me, and I felt really good. But then I realized the clock was ticking. It was past Max's bedtime of 7 p.m., and I had to go all in on a 2 and a 5, and lost it all. I thought, like, up until then, people were... So our friend Bo, who owns Garton, and he's a professional poker player, he's like, well, it's good that you're so bad, because good players don't know how to play against bad players. Because I kept on going all in on everything, and everybody assumed I had a great hand, and so they all folded, and I kept on collecting all these, like, pile of chips. But I always had, like, for some reason, I kept on getting dealt, like, a 2 and a 6. Like, I don't know. But I won every hand.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Bo is correct. And everybody, you know, during the whole course of the day, you said, oh, I'm playing poker, and I've never played before. And every single person was like, oh, sure. Oh, sure.
Everybody thought I was a hustler. It was weird. I'm also happy today that we have Bean a Fire here. So they're going to set up shop over there where the Coco Max is and offer you all sorts of cool Bean a Fire drinks. That's Volcano coffee. We're going to keep Max away from the Volcano coffee today because, like I said, he slept for 12 hours last night, and it could be dangerous.
I'm just getting started. Hey, you've seen the schedule. Who are you looking forward to see today?
I actually have not seen the schedule, but I know that after lunch you're talking to Jimmy Song, but before lunch in the morning, right now, while you're getting the morning sun, of course, you're going to talk to Dr. Jack Cruz, who is, Dr. Cruz is, I'd say he's a little bit more combative even than Max Kaiser on X. And, but he's like a total genius and attracts so many people to El Salvador. It's really amazing. Down at our restaurant, La Cajita, if anybody has had a chance to go visit it yet, Max and I own La Cajita restaurant in El Zante. And half of our customers say, like, Jack Cruz sent me. So it's amazing how many people he attracts to the country. And that's part of that low time preference sort of mindset and vibe that we have here in El Salvador. We have the perfect money, and now we're building the perfect lifestyle. People are coming here because we're on the 14th, is it parallel, north? And a lot of sunshine. I'm here every morning getting sunshine at 7 a.m., getting the morning sun because Jack Cruz, I listen to him, and I feel good about it.
Perfect. Stacy, give it up. Round of applause. All right, Jethro, come back up here and introduce our first speaker. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, next up, we do have the esteemed Dr. Jack Cruz, board-certified neurosurgeon, and on the cutting edge of decentralized medicine for over 20 years. So without further ado, put your hands together for Dr. Jack Cruz.
Woo! Come on up. Jack Cruz, board-certified neurosurgeon, founder of the Cruz Longevity Center, leading voice connecting health optimization and Bitcoin sovereignty, known for pioneering approaches in circadian biology, quantum health, and environmental medicine. Cruz left traditional medicine to focus on decentralized health principles that empower individual freedom. He also advocates for Bitcoin as a tool for personal and financial sovereignty, exploring the parallels between decentralized money and human biology. And quite ironically, Jack, today you are sick.
I am, but I come to answer the question, how did James Brown do it? Cocaine. That's how he did it.
Beautiful. Well, you learn a lot here at the Max and Stacy Invitational. Dr. Cruz, thank you for coming. And what is this all? Circadian biology is something that is talked about quite often. Can you kind of enlighten me? What does this more in-depth mean?
Well, the simple answer to the question is to make it so the people out there who are not scientists understand it. If I was to send you to Stacy and Max's restaurant in El Zante without your GPS, you'd get fucking lost. And circadian biology is exactly the same thing for biology. And it uses 3 metrics because health is fully decentralized. It uses light, dark, and temperature. So none of those 3 are more important than the other. All 3 are important together, and you need all 3 in order to navigate your life so that you have not only longevity, but probably the single most important thing is that you're not in survival mode, that you're able to thrive. So what does that mean? When you're 20 years old, you're healthy, there's no issues, you have no problem. But there's a lot of, healthy 25, 30-year-olds that drop dead on soccer fields and football fields after taking, the jab in the United States. So did the jab have something to do with their circadian mechanism? The answer is yes. So even if you're healthy, it can take you out. The flip side of that is, can you be an old fucker like me or like Max and start paying attention to those things so that when you move to El Salvador 5 years ago, you can tell centralized medicine to go fuck off and drop all your health insurance. You're not taking any medicines, and you don't have any problems. The answer is you can do that too. So the key is, how good is the GPS in your cell phone to get you to your house?
How does it relate to the sun?
Well, the sun is the light in the story.
So the sun resets my circadian rhythm, I believe?
Every morning.
So you get sun every morning, and your GPS that's guiding your inner physical being is set properly.
Yeah, this is probably the most important thing about light. If you take nothing away from anything I've ever said on X or here, the single most important thing for you to do is see the sunrise every morning. It's more important than seeing the sun set. It's more important than you putting your iPhone on in the middle of the night. Sunrise is the single most important sunlight.
Right now in El Salvador, the coast, actually, you can see both the sunrise and the sunset, right? And that's one of the reasons why El Salvador is such an important wellness center, correct?
Yeah. Well, most of biology is built on 3 things: light, water, and magnetism, and El Salvador has all 3 of those in spades. I mean, you can't do better anywhere on Earth. There's a couple places that each one of those metrics could be better, but when you take all 3 together, we have ownership of probably the best 3 of just about any other place. And then the other 2 big issues that you have to add to that, and you and Stacy know this, safety is huge. We're in the safest place in the world now. But the other big thing is we have Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is freedom and money. So when you take those 5 things and you add them together, you'd be hard-pressed to find another place anywhere in the world that's better than El Salvador.
All right, let me ask you another question about vocabulary and a word that I often hear, and I just like, oh, yeah, of course I understand that, but probably I don't, is mitochondria. What is it?
For the non-scientists, mitochondria are the time machines that are in your cells. For the scientists that are out there, they're considered the powerhouse of the cell. I'm going to tell you, I think that's a misnomer because I think the science is missing a lot of points. But for Bitcoiners, what you need to understand, your Bitcoin isn't the most valuable asset you have. I know all of you have been told that. In fact, Max has probably told you that. But I started telling people 10 years ago, the most valuable asset all of us have is time. Bitcoin is second. And when you realize the more Bitcoin you own, the more time you can capture. Why? Because you can come to a place like this. Because Max and I are both from New York. We're both in the same age group. All the millennials on Twitter make fun of us being boomers, but here's the irony. Bitcoin allowed us to do things that many other boomers couldn't do. But Max and I have been able to do it. And that's why I try to explain to people that Bitcoin creates time. Right now I'm creating time for my nurse. I'm creating time for my kids. I'm creating time technically for all of you because all of you are in my country club, Max's country club. This is where we live full time. We're inviting you to see our ark, to visit our president.
I noticed when I drive in to the main gates, of course, if you look to the left, your house is on the left there. And you recently put up some extensions and a deck. But if you look at it from the road looking up, it actually does look like Noah's Ark. The wood comes up, and then there's a little pilot's cabin up there. And you've actually built an actual ark, Jack.
I kind of did. So if you win that, if you get closest to the hole and you win the $1,200 ride, tell them to fly over my house. And what you'll see on the drone view, I built actually a sundial around my house out of teak wood. That's really what I did. So that way, in different parts of the year, I can go to different parts of the deck. So most of you heard Max tell you that I'm sick. I got the flu 5 days ago. I've been sitting on my deck for 5 days, hoping that I wouldn't miss this time to come spend with you and Max. But it's really important for you to understand, am I going to the doctor for this? No. What am I doing? I'm decentralizing my wellness to come back out in nature. Do I feel better today than I did the last 3 or 4 days? Absolutely. Is it surprising to me that I got sick since I live in El Salvador? Not really, because I just came back from the United States. I'm seeing my little retards for Christmas. So the flight back was not great for me, but, I've told Stacy this many times. I'm no longer really a fan of going back to the United States. And these two, I'm always on their ass because they travel all the time. Stacy's got to do it because of Bukele. Max has just got to do it because he can't live without Stacy.
So true. So true. It's true. 100% true. And moving right along. You've got like a thing going on here where, because down at the La Cajita restaurant, half the people show up, they say, Jack sent us. So people are coming here, and I know you're doing some building out some facilities and some accommodations, and it's like you're building a whole wellness network. I guess this would fit into the decentralized medicine approach that you've pioneered. Tell the people, how do they get involved in that? How do they sign up and become part of Jack's wellness world?
Well, Max and Stacy were at my member event. That was about a month ago at my house. I held it at my house. And we had 100 of my members there. To be honest with you, when Max started this line of questioning, I didn't know how I was going to answer it, but I think I'm going to answer it now. I never thought in a million years that I would ever get into the countrywide suites business. But it's kind of happened that I bought several properties down here in El Salvador for a really bizarre reason. I have a lot of female members, and a lot of them are single, and they want to come down to El Salvador, but they're scared. They're scared because of what our State Department has told them. And when they come down, they want to have a turnkey program. They want to be able to go someplace where they have a maid, they have somebody to clean up, the palm trees, somebody go shopping with them, and they want to be able to navigate around the city because they're afraid of driving in El Salvador. Because if you're not like me and Max from New York City, San Salvador at 1 p.m. can be fucking psychotic. But through the process of them asking me to get involved in this, I bought 2 properties, one on the Black Sand Beach and one down in Costa del Sol. And the one in Costa del Sol should be ready probably in a month and a half, where I'll be able to put 16 people to do the things that I teach people. That all the things, like if you follow me on Twitter, you hear me talk about, you'll be able to do stuff like that.
All right, so it's like cougar paradise. Oh my God!
It's an interesting way of putting it.
Great. Well, that's how Stacy met Max. She saw this gorgeous hunk of young man, and she picked me up, and I've been her sex slave now for 23 years.
Well, we do need to make Bitcoin babies, so I think that's kind of important as well.
Well, okay, I'll work on that later. Jack Cruz, thank you.
All righty.
Jack Cruz, get over Jack Cruz. Jethro, step it up, bring it on.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Cruz. And next up, we have Will Lair. He is the founder of Club Cocal, one of the sponsors for this event. They are a premier event space about halfway between El Zonte and the city. He has 25 years of real estate experience, 20 years of sound money alternative investment experience, bringing OGs to Bitcoin for over 10 years. He's one of the most optimistic and inspiring people when he talks about the potential here in El Salvador, here in Bitcoin country. So welcome, Will Lair.
All right, Will Lair, the
Jeff
founder
Lair.
of Club Cocal, Bitcoin-friendly social club and community hub in Playa del Carmen, a real estate and lifestyle venture focused on sovereignty, travel, community-driven living, a passionate advocate for building real-world Bitcoin culture. Will brings together like-minded builders and creators in environments that emphasize connection, health, and freedom. Have a seat. Will, all right.
Wow. Thank you, Max.
There we
That
go.
was a mouthful there. Sorry, I didn't type all that.
No, it's fine. Club Cocal is, how long you been around?
Been here about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. In April will be 3 years.
How did you first get here? What was your, moment of clarity when you said, oh, I got to go to El Salvador?
Well, it was you, of course, sir. It was a phone call from a former business partner who said, dude, we have to go to El Salvador. We're a Bitcoin company, and Elizabeth Warren is trying to throw Bitcoiners in jail. They want us down there. So that's what brought me.
That's interesting. So the freedoms that one would normally associate with the United States are not really there in the same robust manner that people associate with the United States, but they appear to be here in El Salvador.
This is the new 1776 right here.
And what has been the response so far to Club Cocal?
It's been quite overwhelming. What we do, if you ask me what we do in one word or 2 words in one sentence, conscious community. We bring like-minded people together. When I landed here 3 years ago, I stepped foot in Zonte, and it blew my mind. I knew right away, this is it. This is Bitcoin. When I discovered Bitcoin in 2012 or whatever, this is it. All of my people, I've spent 20 years on the phone with like-minded gold and silver stacking and Bitcoiners. I do self-directed IRAs. So
What were you doing before Club Cocal?
self-directed IRAs, gold and silver, and Bitcoin, and helping people basically put them in their retirement accounts. I've been doing that since 2013. I think I was the first person or company to put Bitcoin in a retirement account back in 2013. So I've got a decade plus of all these like-minded friends. Okay.
So you come from the financial services industry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so you developed these IRA products, gold, silver, and so when you say a Bitcoin-friendly social club and community hub, what does that mean? I mean, you have some real estate in the beach, I guess. I mean, what can people buy into it? I mean, what exactly is it?
So we have a Playa Cocal, which is closest beach, right down the mountain. It's the first beach that you hit, 20 minutes east of Zonte, 20 minutes down the hill from here. It started as a beach house, real estate office, and has morphed into a unspoken private community club, incubator, We're full right now of friends and clients and people coming back, people coming down for the first time.
People don't live there. There's a business hub.
We do have people
You have
living.
business there, but you have people living there.
We also have people living there.
But
yeah.
you have space for them.
We
And
do.
they rent there?
We have some casitas that we rent out, mostly we don't advertise, just friends and clients.
And
such.
so what's the business plan going forward? You plan to do what going forward, the business plan?
Well, what started as bringing like-minded people down to buy lots and beach houses has morphed into conscious community development. We've got 23 acres. Our flagship is 10 minutes west of Zonte in Shutia, 23 acres just off the ocean, and we're going to have a like-minded community of 21 homeowners.
Okay, so you're going to have home ownership as part of Club Cocal. So it's a community like Margaritaville, or it's a planned community, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I have a planned community house in the United States somewhere,
Yeah.
right? It's a planned community,
Club Cocal's the umbrella under which we have what will
right?
become
Like
many
Disney
planned
has
communities.
Disney communities. They have they're building communities.
Yeah.
Right, so you're building a Bitcoin-friendly community, homeowners, you can buy into it.
Next
and
we're
right
doing
now,
ranches.
can I buy a house there yet?
Not yet. We can
Okay.
sell you a lot at Shutia.
Okay, sell me a lot.
And then we could build you a house.
Okay, so how many lots are
We're
there?
saving one for you, bud, up on the top of this bluff where we hope we can fit a helipad and a max house. We'll see.
Great, hot and cold running Coco Max
See if the engineers can
at
pull it off.
the new Club Cocal real estate development project. You can take a bath in Coco Max. You have an ice-chilled Coco Max plunge pool.
Oh, wow.
That will, completely cure you of
Ice
all
bath with a
possible
straw.
ills. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Love it.
So, but right now, some people are renting. You have essentially a clubhouse.
We do. Yeah, we have casitas and a beachfront.
So people
tomorrow
kind
we're
of like
having the after party.
I go there. I go there. I arrive in the morning. I hang out at Club Cocal all day.
Yeah.
And if I don't have a rental place there, I leave whenever I leave.
Sure. Yeah, tomorrow will be a great example. We're doing the Bitcoin Farmers Market. Shout out to my boys out there. 9 a.m. at the Bitcoin Farmers Market. We'll be at Club Cocal. And then it'll probably wind down midday. And then 2 o'clock-ish, we're kicking off the sunset party for the Max and Stacy golf tournament.
Okay.
Party.
There's a Max and Stacy after party at Club Cocal. When is that?
Sunday, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Coconut
What time?
bowling.
What time?
Coconut bowling.
Coconut bowling is going to be featured?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and what time?
2 o'clock.
How are people going to get there?
There's Ubers, there's taxis, there's our favorite Bit drivers.
Bit driver,
It's
Uber.
20 minutes down the hill.
It's
so
just 20 minutes away.
Yep.
Okay, we'll be there.
Yep. And then are there festivities in Zonte afterwards? Well, there's always festivities in Zonte.
Right.
but we're
So
on
I
the
hope
way to
I'm better
Zonte.
at coconut bowling than I am at poker. I'll say that.
We'll find out.
I mean, I had to pair up with Stacy, and she's a card shark. She bankrupted me in 5. It's incredible. All right. Well, that sounds fantastic. Any questions out there for Club Cocal? Da, 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 da. Give it up. Thank you, Will.
Thank you, everybody.
All righty. Jethro, who's next? Thank you, Will.
Appreciate you, Max.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Will. I look forward to seeing all of you at the Club Cocal official party tomorrow with coconut bowling and the pool party and the farmers market and all that great stuff. Next up, we have Carlos Estrada, founder of Coin Vigilante. They are an international watch brand making custom limited timepieces, including the winner's watches for the Max and Stacy Golf Invitational. So welcome, Carlos.
Hey, Carlos, how you doing?
Good, man.
You're
Happy to be
supposed to
here.
be bringing up some watches. What happened?
We got him right there.
Bring
We
him
got
up
right
on
there.
stage. Come on. Who's your lovely assistant here?
That's my wife. That's the wife.
That's your
right there.
wife.
Partner
What's her
in crime.
name?
Hannah.
Hannah. All
We
right,
got
let me
Hannah
move
here.
this. All right. Let's put, you sit here. Put the watches there. I'll sit here.
All right.
All right. Here we go. First of all, let me talk about Coin Vigilante. Maker. You sit there. You're sitting here. Yeah, you're up here, Hannah. Hannah, you staying. Hannah, you staying right there. They're maker of Max and Stacy Winners watches. Carlos Estrada is the founder of Coin Vigilante, a watch brand producing limited and custom timepieces for collectors, companies, and institutions around the world. So we were introduced to you guys last year. You did the Winners watch. The grand prize for first, second, and third places are these incredibly
Bring those, Hannah.
gorgeous
First
Coin Vigilante watches. And what?
Oh, nothing. I was just saying, Those are not the ones, but the ones are over there, yes.
Now, these are not the actual winner's watches. These are an example of the fine work that Coin Vigilante does. That this is an example of what they're doing. The winner's watch is bright orange, of course. And every watch has a story, right? So in this particular watch, what does it say around the crown there?
Yeah, so in short, Coin Vigilante, we started it 5 years because I wanted to create something that relates sound money with time. You know, Bitcoin is about protecting your purchasing power. And, you know, we work our asses off out there to make money and put food on the table for our families. And fiat does not respect that. You know, Bitcoin does. And so I created these watches with the intention of telling a story. This one right here is a watch that we're about to sell, and it's the Genesis edition. And it's all designed about, you know, block zero. So the time that Bitcoin was created. So every watch is limited like Bitcoin. It tells a story. It's worn by Bitcoiners out there in 55 countries and here in El Salvador too. And we're really excited to keep bringing these out to everyone. When you buy a Rolex, when you buy any other watch, it's usually just a fashion statement. It looks good. You like to wear it. We want to change that a little bit. We want to bring watches that actually carry the Bitcoin story, and it means something to those who wear them.
Right, and where are these watches actually manufactured?
Yeah, so depending on where we are sourcing the materials, either Japan or Switzerland, depending on the watch.
Right, and so Switzerland is, of course, the world leading supplier of what? Components, like all the little bits
Yep.
and pieces that go in there?
Yep.
And then where are they assembled?
So they're assembled. We have factories here in the U.S. and in Asia, depending on where we assemble them. But it just depends on the watch that we're doing.
Right, and so we have the Max and Stacy's winner's watch, which look gorgeous. And I'm just wondering, yeah, I'm actually going to grab this just so, yeah, here it is. It's just peeking up out of the, hopefully I know everyone's really nervous right now because I'm probably going to drop this. There you go. You can be the model. There it is. That's the actual Hannah, the hand model. I'm a leg model, by the way. I work for Vogue and Mademoiselle and these magazines. Yeah, I'd like to have a one around my ankle.
Yeah, we're going to put it on your legs, Max.
Yeah, I think that would be great. You know, we invented a lot of things like the Coco Max. I also invented Stacy's chocolate ankles. This is a new candy we're introducing. Also, Sweet Stacy steak sauce is coming out in 2026. So, you know, we're building our food empire, you know, to go along with our wellness empire and our golf empire is food. So that's the winner's watch. And what do these generally retail for?
So these are $1,249. These are limited editions, and you know they're limited to 121 pieces out there.
Right. So, you know, I guess a Rolex goes for like $15,000.
Yeah, they go somewhere up 5,000 plus. Yeah.
And so you're getting that prestige quality kind of watch, probably the same components from Switzerland that go into a Rolex go into these watches.
Yeah, I would say Rolex definitely has I would say better material. They do a lot of things in-house, but you know, we're starting from the ground up and we're moving each year into better quality, better materials. But yes, you're getting quality. Everything's water resistant. Everything is sapphire crystal, high quality components. So yes.
And there is an element of scarcity.
Yes.
Right?
That's all Bitcoin. Bitcoin is scarce, and we want to make our watches also scarce. So only 121. We have limited editions of 21 pieces, so we try to make it scarce.
Okay, so typically it's a 21-piece run on a watch, and that's limited, and then you have the scarcity value built into it. Are people auctioning these things off on like eBay and places like that? And
Yeah.
what's been the price action?
Yeah, I've actually seen a 549 watch. It was our Bitcoin halving watch. It was the first time that jump-started our business. And people are putting them up on eBay for $3,000. They've sold, and so they hold their value, especially because of the scarcity value. That's it.
Right. So people can pass them down to as an heirloom, right? Because this is typically what you do.
Yep.
You know, I think the ad for one of those watches is you don't buy the watch for yourself, you buy it for your heirs or something, right?
Yep.
There's this idea it's part of your estate and identity. And let me see if there are any questions out there for Coin Vigilante. Any questions out there? I'm so good at this. I noticed that I'm actually running ahead of schedule. So anyway.
Well, Max,
yeah.
before we leave, so So the watches that she brought are actually, I want to gift Max and Stacy. Where's Stacy at? This watch right here means a lot, especially to me and a lot of our community, because it's created around the Genesis. So it marks the beginning of sound money, and I want to gift that to you.
What?
We got to have a Bitcoiner or wear a Bitcoin watch.
This is
you
a
know what
gift?
I mean? So, and then this is for Stacy right here.
Oh, my God.
It's a white one, so I wanted to gift them to him. Got to do it
Oh,
here in
my God.
Salvador, you
Where's
know?
Stacy?
Got to do it here.
Is Stacy Herbert in
She'll
the house?
get it later.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, that's number 11 out of 121, and that's also matches. It's number 11 out of
Also,
121.
that's beautiful.
Oh.
Wow.
Matching
Oh, that's
watches.
incredible.
Yeah. So
I cannot
Thank you.
express my joy enough. This is fantastic. And then, so what does it say? What are the little inscriptions there?
yeah, so this one engraved on the bezel, it actually says Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks.
All right.
On the traditional minute markers, it actually has the block hash engraved all around the watch. So there's little Easter eggs that you can find that actually mean something for those who wear them.
That's incredible. Well, I can't tell you. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. Give it up.
Thank you.
Carlos. Coin Vigilante. Thank you so much. I'll keep those here. Yeah, I'll keep them here. I'm never letting them out of my sight. Ever. I'm not even going to send Stacy. Anyone want to buy a watch? No. All right. Who's next, Jethro?
So next up, just first a reminder, so we do have this raffle, so you can sign up right over there. Everybody who bought a ticket to this event can sign up for free, and some of the prizes are 1 box of Bean of Fire coffee, a mini miner courtesy of the Bitcoin hardware store, Max and Stacy event shirts to be determined, and a golf tool that we're about to have a quick demonstration of. I will also just remind people that helicopter right over there, there's a tent nearby where you can buy a golf ball for $50 to be entered in the golf ball drop to win a helicopter ride. So if you want to ride on that helicopter, you can sign up over there. For the raffle, you can sign up back there. And now we are going to do a quick demonstration of a golf training tool.
Oh, who is this?
It's one of the tools in the raffle. His name is Jeff.
Oh, hey, Jeff. I played poker with you last night. Round of applause for Jeff. Woo. All right. This is unexpected. Jeff,
I know. I'm freaking out here.
who are you? First of all, who are you?
So I got a mic. I'm just a guy that came up with an idea years and years ago and had a passion project that I was working on. And because I'm not a professional, I'm not anybody. I don't have a pedigree in the game. It was very difficult for me to break into any kind of consciousness as far as whether this was going to help you in your game or not. So. This actual tool here was spun out 30 years ago, and it was just a project that I sort of abandoned as I raised children, and I had to realize that I actually had to raise children and provide for them instead of putting more money into a passion project that I didn't necessarily believe was going to happen. So.
Right. Okay. Well, what do you got there? What is it?
So.
Yeah, demonstrate. I'll hold the mic, and we'll do it that way.
Basically, the philosophy was that, golf is a specialized weapons form of a martial art. And so I took an ancient martial arts tool, and I simply added a pendulum to the center of it to help you find your center of activity in your swing so you can connect to your center of gravity. So the whole idea is to help you connect your hands with your center of gravity. And so I borrowed this ancient tool, modified it, and back then, and it's an open source project, you can just go to the Home Depot and buy a dowel rod and buy a string and a pickleball and make your own training device. So what I did, though, is I added the Fibonacci numbers to the stick to give it aesthetic proportion. So back then, I was fascinated with Austrian economics, Fibonacci, and so to make the product a collectible, I decided to serialize each one so that each one had its own unique number and property.
Oh, wow. So you're a believer that golf success incorporates an alignment with some kind of inner spiritual being?
Yes, I think that golf is sort of related to finding infinity within rather than, people think of infinity, they think of Jupiter and then, the stars, the galaxies, and on and on and on. But we actually have an indwelling infinity within ourselves that's sort of tied to our maternal gravity center, so to speak.
Yeah, well, let's talk about golf for a second because, the Max and Stacy Golf Invitational kicked off because I read a story that was written by Trey and the guys in Nashville. I met them, and they wrote an article for Bitcoin Magazine about the spiritual qualities of golf and how perfecting golf is like Bitcoin because it's proof of work, and you need to kind of master yourself, and you need to have control over your own self in a lot of ways. So Bitcoin, golf is an interesting sport because you're playing against yourself, whereas other sports, you have a team and you're playing against a team. Golf, I think, is unique in this way in that you go out there with just your mental acuity and whatever skills you've developed in hitting the golf ball. But a lot of it comes down to having patience and having a certain ability to crowd out your mind of all the extraneous things that are going on in your mind. I mean, I've been playing golf now for 1 year, and I find that the biggest problem to overcome is that while I'm focusing and hitting this ball, I need to get everything else out of my mind because any little distraction in your brain is reflected in your body. And if your body even is 2 degrees this way or that way, the ball is going to go, 50 degrees that way or that way, right? It gets magnified. Every little conscious or unconscious distraction is magnified in a ball, an errant ball going in the wrong direction. So then when you hit that ball straight and it ends up on the green or something, you feel like, I am spiritually aligned with golf, and there's a lot of satisfaction to that. I think that's also different than any other sport. Like I played ice hockey when I was a kid. You score a goal, it's very satisfying, but it's a lot of brute force in these like football and contact sports, basketball, hockey. You're brute forcing your way into scoring. So, but in golf, you can't brute force your way into a birdie.
Correct, because it's more about connecting all the parts in synchronicity.
Right.
Connected to the center.
So does it work? Can you demonstrate it maybe?
Yeah, hold on here.
Okay.
First of all, I just wanted to, so I basically dug this out of a garage when the ex-wife said, get this out of the garage or I'm going to throw them on the bonfire. So I decided both of my sons are software engineers. So my oldest son's very fascinated with the 3D printer. So he did some 3D printing to add some Bitcoin bling to the product.
Oh, nice. Oh, I see that.
I've added these phrases here.
Right. I see censorship resistant, trustless exchange, hard money, unconfiscatable. Okay.
All right, and at the ends, I put the hodl waves.
Hodl waves.
So I did a left turning and a right
Oh, it's a thing
turning.
of beauty. I mean, if you're not, you can hang this up on your wall and then definitely get divorced.
Right.
Without question.
So
no wife would put up with this, would accept this on the wall. It would be like, what is that thing on the wall? Get that off right away. But anyway.
All right, so wait, I'll screw it together. And,
all right.
And the reason I did this is, had it broken up like this, was because it'll fit in your golf bag.
Right, it's got to fit in the golf bag.
You can use it on the range. It's an alignment tool.
All right.
One stick and then
fire it up
down your target line. So.
Okay, let's check it out. Da, 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 da. All right. I'm going to step aside here because it looks dangerous.
Just several movements to do. The first is you're trying to basically keep that ball still. So you're trying to, if you can keep the ball still while you're moving this around, you're going to stimulate the center of your core, and you'll start stimulating some muscles that you may not even be used to.
Yeah.
So even if you're working out every day and you start using this, I've had people that would call me up.
Well, does it help with ED?
I'm not sure.
Like I see on YouTube a lot of these Kegel exercises.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
I don't know why I'm getting fed all these Kegel exercises. I don't have an ED issue.
Just make sure.
Why are they harassing me?
I'm
getting
squeeze
ED.
your butt cheeks while you're doing it. It's
all right,
relax.
that's fine. That's fine.
The first is to keep this centered and make it center, touch each shoulder as you're going through. You'll actually see the ball spin inside of itself. You're always trying to stay on your center line on the insides of your feet. You don't want to get out here, because that's how you lose.
Should I remind people about the raffle again before introducing you guys?
To make the ball drop.
Yeah, the ball drop and
Always have the center come back to your center. Keeping your head still. And you can turn.
Wow.
Start whipping it around. Whoops. Start whipping it around.
This is very graceful. My God. This is bringing out your inner ballerina. This is so beautiful. Wow, round of applause. This is incredible. Jumping. Wow. You're like the Bruce Lee of golf. You know, what do they call us? Nunchucks. You're the nunchucks. Huh, huh.
Frida, you're ready?
Wow.
Do you want me to just remind people of the raffle? This is one of the prizes. You can also,
That's okay. All right, cool. Let's get a round of applause. So how long have you been in Bitcoin?
2017.
2017 is pretty early. And so you're fucking Bitcoin wealthy and you have time in your hands to build a golf spiritual stick. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. It's like, you know what? I'm so fucking rich, I'm going to build a Japanese golf stick with a ball attached to it and dance around at the tournament. That's because that's my passion. Work your passion and save in Bitcoin. Right? Isn't that true?
Absolutely. One more thing.
Okay.
All right, so I'm giving these off in pairs because studying Japanese culture back in the day, I was trying to improve the product, so I added a brass center to represent gold as the apex predator of the Austrian economic model. And so they'll be given away in pairs, this set. And I have several more pairs with me. I will auction these off at Club Cocal tomorrow.
Woo!
And I'll do a silent auction, and then half the proceeds I'll give to the House of Life, Bob's wonderful program. So.
Oh, well, give it up! Woo! Thank you. Thanks, man.
and that's also in the auction today, right? One of them?
These are given away.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, who's fantastic. All right, let's move it along. Who's next?
Yep. So that was one of the auction items. The other auction items that you can sign up for before lunch are 1 box of Bean of Fire coffee, a mini miner courtesy of the Bitcoin hardware store, and a Max and Stacy event t-shirt. So next up, we do have the co-founders of Bitcoin Sports Network, the co-organizers of the Max and Stacy Golf Invitational. Put your hands together for our hosts, Chris and Frida.
Woo! Woo! Chris and Frida Bobet are the husband and wife duo behind Bitcoin Sports Network, BSN, producers of the Max and Stacy Invitational, a premier Bitcoin golf experience. Merging Bitcoin culture with competitive golf and community, they've created an international stage where athletes, entrepreneurs, and Bitcoiners connect on and off the course. Chris and Frida!
Thank you, Max. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up. You got a chair? You need another chair?
I'll find myself a chair. You got a chair?
Here we go.
There?
Let me move my watches here. Put this over here.
Get up here.
Long time coming. Finally up on stage with Max Kaiser.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, we had to work our ass. Just had to work our ass off for 2 years.
That's right. So,
This could be you next year.
as I was telling the story earlier, how this all got started. You know, we talked to Chris, Trey, and those guys in Nashville, and they said, hey, you know, I live in a golf course. Let's do a golf tournament. And they said, well, you got to talk to Chris and Frida. They are the masters at all of this. Is that your understanding? When did you first hear from them about what was going on here, that moment that happened? Can you describe it or tell us?
The moment that they told us that...
The Genesis story. The Genesis story when you first heard about what was coming.
It all happened when I was 5 years old, I think. And I just knew one day Trey and Rocky from Unchained, and we'd be able to create amazing things together.
Really?
But no, it happened at the Nashville Bitcoin conference there. I wanted to give back to the Bitcoin community and do a golf tournament. I've been passionate about golf my whole life, and I've been to a lot of terrible tournaments. and I knew it could be done a lot better. And we highly believe in proof of work, and so we wanted to create something excellent.
So Frida, this year, unlike last year, we have some new events, couple of new events, pickleball and poker. You know, we talked about it, and we thought that we could make the expansion into these other areas. How has that been going?
Amazing. I think poker was a hit last night. It absolutely sold out. Pickleball, I've talked to all the pickleballers. They're very sore this morning. So it was great side events. Everybody loved it. And I think we also added the kids club. I always love the kids club because, you know, we have kids. So they're entertained for like 6 hours with actual things. And yeah, it's been going really well. Yesterday's prize pool for poker, first place, $11,700 was paid out from 71 participants. So.
Yep, 71 participants, $7,100 with a $100 buy-in, and then $4,800 in rebuys, which means that there's a lot of loose poker players in the Bitcoin community.
Yeah.
And they like to donate to the pot. So
And who was
they
the
did it.
sponsor again?
Sponsor was Casino Colonial. They're one of the premier casinos here in El Salvador, and they have lots of locations around Central America.
I think they were thrilled with the whole thing and the response and everything that came with it. I think so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, they really saw a group of passionate people who love poker, and based on that, they're actually looking to do a lot more poker down here in El Salvador.
Oh, great.
And pay out in Bitcoin, which
Great.
is really cool.
Yeah, and shout out to Nodeman for the pickleball. Because the Nodeman team, not only did they sponsor, but they absolutely represented on the court, and they were all good and sweaty afterwards.
Fantastic. So talk to you guys all the time, of course, and we're leading up to the events. And I know you're passionate about combining both golf, Bitcoin, and wellness, because of course, golf would fall under the category of sports. You know, Bitcoin is finance, and then there's a spiritual component. You know, we just had our friend up here previously. He's into his spiritual chi and chakra management with his thing. So, is that accurate to say that? I mean, you're trying to combine these things into one experience. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, you know, over the last several years, this idea that Bitcoin is hope has really been a statement that's been routinely stated year after year after year. And when you first get into Bitcoin, you just look at it as a vehicle to create financial independence. But as you start to go down the rabbit hole and discover more things about the technology and all the revolutionary things that it can really do to give us back our time, which is one of our most precious assets, if not the most precious asset that we have in this world. You start getting more hope. You start being more positive. You start hanging around people who are like-minded like you, who want to create something better for the future. And so when you do that, you start to think, well, shoot, how do I live longer? How do I live happier? You know, we're living in a society that's full of depression, full of drugs, full of, you know, processed foods and obesity epidemics, and, you know, children with ADHD being diagnosed, not necessarily having, but just looking to get out of their own way. And as digital technologies continue to get in our way and attract our attention, we spend less time in the real world focusing on what's really important, which is all of us here and all of us around us and our families, and focusing more into a digital world that everybody has an algorithm out there that knows the individual better than we know ourselves. And it really pushes this negative narrative about how desperate life is and how we need somebody else to help us. And, you know, we're kind of here to say that's not true. You know, we can help ourselves. So we create a platform to do that.
Yeah. Now, I noticed, Chris and Frida, that you guys are coming back to El Salvador quite often. There must be something here you like. What is your impression of El Salvador? And does it fit into your overall vision of health and wellness? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think, you know, we visited this country for the first time right after Bitcoin got introduced here in El Salvador. And honestly, I looked at Chris and I was like, they adopted Bitcoin. They're the first one. We're going. And he was like, oh, I don't know. It might be dangerous. And then 3 months later, we came. And I sat on Bitcoin Beach, and I felt the energy there, and I was absolutely just like, this is home. So I wanted to buy a house then. I wanted to move here then. I wanted to relocate my family then. But we're still being held back by the U.S. a little bit. But it's been a really magnificent journey. I think like what it is all about, I'm a mom, and I want to show my kids by action and by example what is life, how do we ideally live it, and how do we not complain living it? Because I felt like in the mainstream, even though people that are well off, that have a good life from the outside, there's a lot of complainers out there. And so how do we do that? We show them action of the day-to-day. And so now they get to see mom and dad work in a company that, can show them the people that they should meet that know about health because they tried on themselves. They didn't just hear it somewhere. No, they experiment on themselves, with the proper diet, with the proper lifestyle. And they just do things because you can just do things in El Salvador. And it's magic. So I absolutely love this country, and thanks for inviting us.
What a great response, and so well said and heartfelt. I asked Chris the same question yesterday, and he said, well, it's cool. So
They have golf here. That's what I like.
All righty. So, yeah, Chris, tell us. Let's talk about golf, okay? Because when I met you guys and we started talking about this, I really don't know anything about golf, really. And so you are in the golf culture. You're part of the subculture in the Bitcoin community of hardcore golfers. It's the cornerstone of this event. And tell us about this community of golfers in Bitcoin. What are they like? Who are they? What are they like? Tell us a little bit about this group.
It's, as far as I can tell, the most transparent way to see how game theory actually plays out. Golf is a big proof of work sport. In order to get good at it, you have to practice, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort. A famous statement in golf is played between the 4 inches between your ears, basically, which means it's 90% mental and 10% physical. And in a lot of ways, I see that parallel in Bitcoin. Because with the volatility of the asset and all of our families telling us that it's going to zero and we're crazy for investing in it, or when they say, where are you going on vacation? And we say El Salvador, and they say, what are you, crazy? That's a super unsafe place. And, we live in a culture where everybody reads headlines and nobody goes deeper than that. And if you play that way in golf, you're going to play poorly. And so you better not expect very much of yourself. But in Bitcoin, we all expect more of ourselves. And so there's a really big passion between sports that allow you to really play against yourself, just like when the Bitcoin price goes down and you have to buy the dip, and you have to play against your own expectations of where the asset you feel is going and where the asset actually is. And the more you can focus on the people that are driving the adoption, driving the motivation, having those positive conversations, you become better as a person. And in golf, the better your attitude is, the better golfer you become as well. So there's just a lot of parallels.
Okay, so I get the fact that you can become, have a better kind of appreciation for Bitcoin as a golfer. But if my appreciation of Bitcoin, does it go the other way? Does it make me a better golfer?
Well, I think it does. I mean, when I met you a year ago, you had just started taking lessons and were out on the driving range, and I saw your swing, and I was like, okay, he's athletic, but he sucks. And then I was back here for Bitcoin Historico, and we were driving around in the golf cart, and we were going to go see Jack Cruz and try to convince him to take up some stage time at the Max and Stacy, and they weren't home, and they said they would be home. And the gate was locked, and so we just sat outside in the driveway for 20 minutes, and Max was telling me about how his golf game was improving, and he had his golf bag on the back of the golf cart. And he's like, I want to show you my swing. So he takes his driver out, and he doesn't hit any other clubs. He just hits the driver.
That's all.
Because it's it's go big or go home, and we all know that's max to a T. And I was like, why don't we hit a shot here? And he goes, what do you mean hit a shot here? And I was like, well, there's some cracks in the concrete. Let's just throw down a tee and hit one into the parking lot. And he looks at me for about half a heartbeat, and he goes, okay, I'm game. And then and we were going to make this work after that point no matter what, because we tried a couple of cracks and we couldn't get that tee to stick in the ground until ultimately we did. And he pulled out he had a ball, set up the ball, and he smashed one into the parking lot, dead straight from Jack Cruz's parking lot or driveway.
Bitcoin improves your golf game, and golf game improves your Bitcoin. It's all beautiful. Any questions for Chris and Frida out there? Anybody want to ask a question? I know we're thinking lunchtime coming up here in a moment, but I think you've smashed it. You're 20 under par with this interview, and thanks again for everything. Putting all this together, and it's just, from our perspective, we have always been looking around to do an event like this, and as you point out, typically these types of events lack a certain je ne sais quoi, a certain fun factor, but I think you guys have really figured it all out. So thank you once again. Chris and Frida, a big round of applause.
Thank you. And also,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for trusting us, Max
Yes,
and
of
Stacy.
course.
Yeah. So if you're in another country, you want us to do the same thing there, give us a call. We'll help you out. Create the greatest golf tournament your country or country club has ever seen.
That's right. The Max and Stacy can be franchised to any country, any golf course in the world. Contact Chris and Frida, and we'll show up. I'll be there. I'll be on the stage. Doesn't matter. Thailand, Bulgaria, Moscow, France, Antarctica, where Jack Cruz likes to go to get sun. We'll do it.
Thank you.
All right. Jethro. I think it's lunch, right?
No, we got two or three more.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that. All right. Who's up?
So next up is Alex Ricoso, CEO of Citizen X. They are a Plan B passport international diversification specialist company. So welcome, Alex.
Do. Have a seat. I got to read this. Hold on. Sit down, young man. We'll get to you in a second. I have to change glasses now to my reading glasses. Here we go. Citizen X, Alex Ricuso, CEO of Citizen X, an identity and sovereignty platform that guides individuals through fast, secure, straightforward citizenship and passport diversification options. Under his leadership, Citizen X helps global citizens expand their personal freedom through strategic international residency and citizenship planning, empowering individuals to unlock mobility, stability, sovereign opportunity in an increasingly interconnected world. Alex, how are you?
That's a lot of words. It would be just easier to say that we work with Katie the Russian to help people get Plan B passports.
Yeah, I
It would be
bet.
much easier.
That's fantastic. So I'm sure we're going to get some questions after this, too, because a lot of people are looking for...
For the people that call us, most definitely. There's other type of people that may have been born in a country with a weaker passport and they're looking to improve their travel freedom and things like that.
Well, hold on. They have a weaker passport, right? So every passport allows you to travel to different countries. And I've seen these ratings. Like a passport from, I guess, the U.S., you would be in the Schengen area. You can travel to any country visa-free, all right? Gives you visa-free travel. So if I'm in a country with...
Say all the time, the U.S. used to becoming worse and worse in terms of to Brazil.
The Americans cannot travel. So if you going kind of feasibility, and who are rising countries?
El Salvador passport is up and rising. Like it just became the 21st country to be part of global entry in the U.S.
Wow.
So that basically says that the U.S. considers that El Salvador is doing a good work in terms of security, and it's willing to give Salvadoran citizens global entry to the U.S.
Right, and I believe recently El Salvador was upgraded for travel safety to the highest rating, right? Whereas places like in Mexico, that's not true.
Exactly. So you want to think about these things strategically and maybe, consider getting for more optionality a second passport from a country that is improving, not from a country that is becoming worse and worse. But the number one driver is optionality. Many people.
Social.
Sorry?
What?
Optionality.
Optionality.
We
okay.
like to say that Bitcoin is king, but passport is queen. So the same way you want your plan B and you buy Bitcoin, you want your plan B passport and you want to diversify your passport portfolio to not depend on just one country.
Okay, so in El Salvador, there's a program that for $1 million donation, you get a passport in less than 2 weeks. What's the name of that program?
It's the Freedom Passport program.
Passport. You get $1 million donation, and within less than 2 weeks, you get a Salvadoran passport. And do you guys help people with that one?
Yeah, we help with that one. We have driven, I believe, the biggest amount of capital into El Salvador for that program. So we have helped many Bitcoiners with that program. It's also the fastest in the world. You can get a Salvadoran passport in around 6 weeks, which is very impressive.
I noticed living here that seemingly the biggest cohort of immigrants is coming from Canada, particularly during the COVID crisis. A lot of Canadians came here. Is that what the numbers that you see, and can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I would say it's mostly North Americans, either Canada and U.S. citizens, and then Europeans as well. For U.S. citizens, it's a bit more tricky because you have global taxation, so no matter where you live, you will always pay taxes to the U.S. But that's also the point of getting a second passport from a country like El Salvador, to have the optionality to, if you want in the future, be able to renounce U.S. citizenship and stop paying taxes to the U.S. It's just a matter of optionality.
Right, that's an option, and a lot of people pick up on that option. And so the passports that are kind of moving down the list are not doing so well. We talked about the USA. I mean, just purely as an interesting talking point, I'm curious, are European countries, are they holding steady? Are they moving up? Are they going down? How do you think Europe as a whole is doing?
In terms of visa-free access, they're holding up quite well. They have quite good visa-free access because of the colonial past and the history of European countries. But the thing is that many Europeans these days are seeking second passport because they don't trust their governments. There are things like global taxation being discussed in France, and many Bitcoiners think that their European country will come and seize their Bitcoin, so they want to have a second option, be backed by a country that actually supports them and where they can hold Bitcoin freely.
Yeah, a lot of people when they hear about, I want to get a second passport, it sounds like, James Bond or something, or spies, and like it's not something